Demetrius Andrade says that Billy Joe Saunders ducked a fight with him. Billy Joe Saunders says he's willing to fight Andrade now, and Andrade is not convinced. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Patreon family, Cash App, all that. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel. And let's talk about it. Last night, they had two YouTubers fight, KSI and Logan Paul Part 2. And surprising to some boxing purists, we could say it was the fight on the card that actually had the most entertainment. You know, they had actual boxing fights, but the matches they were in and the performances were unknown variables, unknown guys, and just, you know, like Devin Haney, he won every round, but we've seen him look, you know, just really crispier. He was just in there with the awkward guy where it was hard to shine with. He did get one knockdown, so I don't think Devin Haney looked bad. He was doing his thing. He dominated every round, but it was just the guy he was in there with was not gonna engage, especially after the knockdown. So it made it hard for Devin Haney to, you know, shine beyond that or look sensational like he had versus his last two opponents, Antonio Moran or anything like that, you know. And he's the new champion, so there was just different pressures because he's been calling out Lomachenko. He got the WBC belt because Loma didn't fight him, and he was on this card with a different audience. So that wasn't if you look at Devin Haney's last three fights, that probably wasn't it wasn't his strongest performance in his last three fights. Post-fight, you could tell. He's like, yeah, you know, I got the W. We moving on to the next. Like, it was that type of fight. Plus, he said he got an injury. So, all in all, did pretty good, but in his last three fights, that was the weakest link performance based on who he fought and, you know, how the fight played out. Billy Joe Saunders, on the other hand, actually looked bad. He got a stoppage late, you know. He dropped his opponent 3 times in one round in the 11th round, but to that point, he was in there with the unknown guy, and it was looking chippy. And the unknown guy was giving him some work. You know, a lot of people even had Corsellis up. I had Corsellis up, you know, and I don't think Billy Joe Saunders was looking sensational. Now, Chris Mannix of Dazn, the one who said that Tank and AB got in a fight, which was later proven to be false, he just posted this. He works with Dazn. It says, Saunders made it clear in the fighter meetings, if he can't get Canelo, he wants Demetrius Andrade. Andrade and Saunders were scheduled to meet at a middleweight bout last fall before Saunders vacated his title following a failed drug test. Now, to me, this is damage control, because they're saying he vacated his title following a failed drug test, but that's just like a loose choice of words. He failed a drug test and he was going to get stripped of his title, so he gave his title back to the WBO because there was no way he was going to keep his title. So it's like Richard Nixon. Yeah, okay, he stepped down because the U.S. was coming for him because of Watergate, and he was about to get impeached, you know. So it's a little bit of semantics there. He vacated his title. Notice how they do this in the comment section, like old media and different stuff, when it's a non-black fighter. Like Lomachenko has been elevated to the franchise champion. He's been upgraded to the franchise champion. Like it's a good thing. You know, Saunders vacated his title. Stop. He didn't vacate. He failed a drug test, which is against the ordinances and boxing rule set. And he served a ban, and then he's been ducking Andrade since. Let's just call boxing what it is. Either way, the other thing that's real questionable from this Chris Mannix tweet is he says Saunders made it clear in the fighter meetings. So he said when the fighter meeting, so you guys know, that takes place before the actual fight. So whatever he said in the fighter meetings, after seeing the performance he had is irrelevant. So why are you telling what he said before so when I started this video, it was 8 minutes ago, but now it says 14 minutes ago. So 15 minutes ago, you're posting a tweet about what Saunders said before the fight, and he looked pretty bad for the first 10 rounds against an unknown. It's just like his buddy Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallen. You're in there with an unknown commodity, an unknown variable, especially in America, a guy who has never really fought outside of his region or hasn't fought anybody big, and now you're posting a tweet from what he said before all of this transpired. So you can understand why people like myself, New Media, and Demetrius Andrade are skeptical of that. He says, Billy Joe Saunders, yeah, okay, this is Andrade's response. Yeah, okay, you believe that? 2 months ago, I challenged him at 168. He could have fought me last night, but he said, hell no. And this is all fact. I reported this. Andrade said he would go up to 168 to fight Andrade on this card. And, people, oh, why we want to see that? Andrade's boring. So this was a great fight with Corsellis. And again, if you have a boring fight with somebody who's actually good and name known, has name recognition, that would at least be more acceptable and accepted from the boxing fans than if you fight an unknown and look bad. So the walls are closing in. Dazon's going to have to ask the tough questions. These novelty fights, I don't know how long they could survive off of KSI, Logan Paul trilogies and Jake Paul versus whoever, Last Airbender, and all these people. But the walls are closing in. Andrade he's on Dazn right now, and he's playing second fiddle. He could have been on this card. Highly skilled. You could have put him on there with Saunders, but they chose the easy route. And it's crazy because to me, Billy Joe Saunders is probably one of the most inconsistent champions that I could think of. What I mean is, look at any other champion. Terrence Crawford, you know what you're getting. Errol Spence, consistent performances. He had a tough fight with Sean Porter, but he still won, still got a knockdown. Ocampo, he blasted him. Lamont Peterson, he blasted him. The Beretta guy, he blasted him. Kell Brook, he ruined his other eye. You get consistency. Wilder's consistently hurting people. Billy Joe Saunders, he'll have a great performance with David Lemieux in Canada. Look spectacular, like where he's pawing and playing with him. And then he'll fight Artur Akov and look okay. He'll do good versus Andy Lee, who was a name, at the time and more respected. And then he'll struggle with Corsellis. So it's really weird, especially for Billy Joe Saunders, like his personality. He wants these like clever jokes, and just it's the same thing with Tyson Fury. You can see why they're friends. They have the same kind of demeanor, cracking jokes and, cocky demeanor. But I'm telling you, if Canelo fights Billy Joe Saunders, then everything he's been accused of is true. If he fights him off of that performance, then Canelo don't want to fight the Andrades and the Charlos and the better Bias, because Billy Joe Saunders, simply put, he didn't look great. And he admits that. There's articles today where Billy Joe Saunders, which is why it's weird that Dazn is saying Saunders made it clear in the fighter meeting, talking about something he said before the fight, but after the fight, he just said in his post-fight interview, Billy Joe Saunders said, I don't deserve a Canelo or Jacobs fight based on that performance. So why is Dazn trying to, if this is not damage control, why are they talking about some stuff he said before the difficult fight with the unknown Marcelo Esteban Corsellis? Why so you'd rather talk about what Billy Joe Saunders said before he had a tough fight against an unknown, but not mention how he said and what he said. and how he said he doesn't deserve a Canelo, which I just told you. So you tell me who's being transparent, new media or old media? Who's being transparent? So after the fight's over, Saunders collects his check. He's telling you off that performance, you know, it wasn't my best. I didn't look too good, but, you know, it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. I don't deserve Canelo and Jacobs. And Dazn rep is posting some shit he said before the fight even took place. Like, just where they do that at. And then the UK, man, the UK got to do something. The UK got to do something because the commentary was egregious. They were like, and Dazn commentary, egregious. They were giving Devin Haney a harder time than Billy Joe Saunders, right? Than Billy Joe Saunders. They were saying like, oh, you know, Devin Haney's going to have to do better. Johnny Nelson of Sky Sports said, oh, slow down and don't call out Lomachenko and things like that. And they were making it as if Devin Haney, the American fighter, had a worse performance than Billy Joe Saunders, but he absolutely didn't. You know, the worst performance of the night was Billy Joe Saunders, you know, out of the main names. KSI, Logan Paul, they, you know, for two inexperienced YouTubers, they didn't do bad. Billy Joe Saunders had a worse performance. And then look, Behind the Gloves did an interview. You know, I'm not going to show their interview, but it says Eddie Hearn reacts. Look right there. Eddie Hearn reacts to the success of KSI Logan Paul 2 and talks about Billy Joe Saunders battling an illness the week of the fight. So now, once again, how does this keep coming up? Where if you have the complexion for the protection and you have a bad performance, then you have built-in excuse. Oh, I had carried these injuries in the fight. Oh, I was sick. Oh, I had the flu. I mean, it's just the same thing. Triple G fought Rosado, and people felt it wasn't necessarily his best work. He had the flu. Triple G fought Derevyanchenko this year. He definitely didn't look good. Oh, he had the flu. You know, Tyson Fury, Otto Wallen. Oh, he had the flu, and oh, he was eating bad the week of the fight. It's just all these excuses leading Billy Joe Saunders. Now he had the flu. You know, but then when other people are sick or claim sick or have any, like if there's a black fighter who has any reason why he feels his performance, he could win and say, hey man, I wasn't feeling good. They'll be like, no, you looked horrible. You know, old media will say this. So it's just weird that, you know, all of a sudden the excuses come out. So Billy Joe Saunders' America debut, now he was sick. For Joshua, Ruiz beats him convincingly 4 knockdowns later. It was a lucky punch sent from the gods. You know, it's just looking bad. It's looking bad for the UK and like the fighters, you know, media that they keep saying. Saunders just didn't look good. And his performances, look at them. They're I just went through some of them. Just look at them. They're highly inconsistent. He'll have a David Lemieux spectacular night and people be riding with him like, oh, okay. He made David Lemieux look silly. And then he fights Corsellas, who no one's even heard of. And then it's like you're fighting to competition. I don't know what it is. But all I do know is it don't look like you want to fight Andrade. No one wants to fight Andrade, bro. Canelo, Triple G, Saunders. So I don't even understand why Dazn would even put that. And the last thing I will say about this tweet from Dazn is he says Saunders said if he can't get Canelo, which he himself says he don't deserve Canelo or Jacobs, and Jacobs is at 68 tied up, right? He wants to fight Andrade. Stop it. You know why? Because like Andrade is saying, he could have fought Andrade on this card. But the worst part about it is, and these are the tough questions that new media has that Dazn will have to start answering, right? Dazn rep just put out this tweet talking about, you know, trying to make it after a terrible performance, which is why I feel it's damage control, that if he can't get Canelo, he wants to fight Andrade. But he could have fought Andrade and he didn't. The other thing is this. How come Dazn is relegated to a tweet, but during their whole broadcast and their telecast, they're not bringing this up? They're not asking him. Just if I'm lying, you go back. If you have Dazn, You can watch replays, go back and watch the, all the build up stuff. Watch the post-fight interviews with Canelo. Watch the post-fight interviews with Billy Joe Saunders. Why aren't you guys asking them? Why aren't you asking them, Canelo, Triple G? Watch all of them. Why aren't you asking Canelo, Triple G, and Saunders during your telecast, when will they fight Demetrius Andrade? They simply aren't doing that. They're not bothering Canelo with that. They're not bothering Triple G with that, right? And they're definitely not bothering Saunders as well with that. So why do you wait for a tweet and then make it look like he wants? Look, I just I just thought of something. Watch. Ego Stradamus. Let's see if we can pull this up. This was yesterday. Bro, the walls are closing in. Look, October 9th. Facts. Andrade did just say in the interview he'd fight Billy Joe Saunders at the full 168 on the Logan Paul versus KSI card. Julian, good shit. Look, October 9th. So this is public knowledge, right? Public knowledge, right? Made a video about it. Look, breaking: Billy Joe Saunders team reject Demetrius Andrade fight on Logan Paul KSI at 168. September 26th. This is public knowledge. This is public knowledge, right? The great thing about new media is you could say whatever you want, but it's already been documented. Everything. That's why we create a paper trail. November 9th, last night, I said if Canelo fights Billy Joe Saunders after that performance, but called Demetrius Andrade very boring, ... meaning that'll be hypocritical if he fights Billy Joe Saunders off of that performance. This is all in stone. People remember this. And there was another tweet I had. Right? Right? Can you imagine the hate Errol Spence Jr. would get if he was struggling with Carlos Ocampo like Billy Joe Saunders is with Coceres? So that was last night. No, but I had another one. Bro, it's all documented. American Rising star Devin Haney is a much better fit for this younger generation YouTuber card than Billy Joe Saunders and his performance. UK Johnny Nelson talking down on Devin Haney's performance, but Billy Joe Saunders looked worse through much of his fight. Wow. See? It's all out there. Man, I had another tweet too where I actually tagged Andre, but like I said, this is getting too easy. Old media is looking worse and worse. Look at Kevin Iole, man. Kevin Iole says Dazn is going to say it added huge subscribers, etc., but won't release numbers. So until they do, whatever they say is meaningless. See, no one buys it. Kevin Iole of Yahoo Sports, right? You can't just say, oh, we had a huge spike and surge and this fight did great, but no numbers come out. See, it's over for. And then you had this dude, Class Act looking at. Remember that dude from Class Act? Hey, Demetrius, why do you want to play with my froggy? If you don't get this Class Act dude out of here, bro, the Kid and Play movie, some of y'all youngins don't know about that classic. Watch. Bro, it's looking bad. Look, this is saying they had closed sections and Errol Spence had way more people versus Sean Porter at the same building. All right, wait. I'm going to be able to find it. Just give me a second. Oh, here it is. Shout out to my dude, Eddie Chambers, professional fighter. I said, look, I told you it's over for old media. I said, why? This is during the Billy Joe fight, 7:01 p.m. yesterday. Why does Dazn act like Demetrius Andrade don't exist as a Canelo opponent? Hashtag new media. And it's really as an opponent for anybody, Canelo, Triple G, or Billy Joe Saunders, right? And Eddie Chambers even responded, maybe Canelo could get the winner of KSI versus Logan Paul too. Crying emoji. It's over. It's over. So if they don't start showing Demetrius Andrade some love and getting him a big fight, then you know what time it is. Let me know what you guys think. Andrade calls bluff on Saunders wanting him. And frankly, after Saunders' performance, I can't see how he would want to fight Demetrius Andrade, especially in America. And I don't know what it's been with UK fighters coming into America, but their performances in this year hasn't been good. Joshua, American debut, got slept. First time ever. TKO loss. 4 knockdowns. Smaller person. Katie Taylor robbed Delphine Persoon. Josh Kelly did not really look good. Right? And then now Saunders' American debut was a wreck too. You know, walls are closing in, people. Shout out to Andrade. Shout out to Rhode Island. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.